Hey. This is the classic in hip hop known as the MPC 2000 XL. Many hits were produced utilizing this. Production made famous by people such as Pete Rock, I think DJ Premier, you know, many. 90s hip hop was mainly done with this right here. Check this out. I'm doing a repair to this MPC. Gonna replace the down button here on the cursor because it becomes very necessary to use this in the course of production, because you're gonna have to, you got to scroll through your sounds. You gotta go up, you gotta go down, you gotta go back. The direction becomes very important, especially once you have already created, let's say you created a drum loop and you want to go back, create another one to before it or a drop in between it. You're gonna need to use that. So I'm in the process of doing that. Check this out. Boom. First thing you do is remove all the screws on the sides. Pay attention on the back. Remove the appropriate screws for the encasement, you see. Then after you remove all the ones on the side, then you come in front. You remove the fader control for the hand, the tactile function, the fader grip. Then you make sure that there's nothing else interfering, which there will not be. Then you go ahead and pop the cover off. And this is my video mate right here, my little video maker with me, Trey, helping me make this video. Cameo. Uh-oh, puked a little. Apparently I forgot about the front console cover latch screws on the front of the MPC. So now I'm doing that. And here we are removing the front panel, front cover on the MPC. So very careful anytime you're undergoing repairs. First off, I'd like to also remind y'all there's certain tools you're gonna need when it comes to repairing some of these kinds of equipment. You're gonna need, first and foremost, solder and soldering irons. Soldering iron, something that looks like a pen here, heats up to 600-700 degrees, very hot, so that you can make the contacts, and it's almost like welding. Weld the contacts together so that you can make the connections between the electronics. You're also going to need certain tools. Some of these might not be necessary, but when you're working on soldering, you might have to desolder connections and get rid of that metal. So I mean, this is a desoldering pump, vacuum pump. You basically, it's like a sort of like a syringe. Basically, you find the stuff you want to suck up, take it, hit this button. Once you're melted it, and it sucks it into the tube here. Then you're also gonna need solder. Best kind is 60-40 rosin core. Looks like tin, looks like just anything, but it has lead in it also, so you want to be careful with this. You always want to have fans running and ventilation when you're doing this kind of work. So let's get to it. First, got to carefully remove all the screws on the panel, the main circuit board. And here we are removing the cover to the directional buttons. Discovered what the main problem was with the situation in terms of what's going on with the directional button. Problem is a broken contact. So since we have another contact here, we're gonna have to do is work on removing this one, and we're going to have to desolder the connections and then resolder in order to make sure it works. But let's make sure you have a good little view of what I'm going to do here, so that you know. That looks all right. See, now we're going to have to carefully, and very carefully when you're dealing with these things, remove the main circuit board. Not completely remove it, but lift it up so that the connections are visible. The contact, you have to make sure we have the new contact in place and that we're ready to do that work. If you can get a good look at it, there's I believe a better look at it. Here is the contacts that have been removed. They're just maybe very difficult for you to see, but they are there. You see, all these are silver and these look like they're brown. Would look like that because I removed the piece that was there. You see the 3 directional buttons there. There's supposed to be one right there. I removed it. I have the replacement, which is here, and it'll be going in there. I gotta make sure that the connections on the circuit board are free of solder and all that, so that, you know, it can conduct in the right places. And here is the rest of the repair, as much as you can see of it anyway, because I know that it's dark. But here's some ideas. First thing you must do is place the components appropriately in the circuit board. Again, you see the replacement component is there, and now, and I don't know why the reflection makes it look crooked in the camera, but it isn't. But anyway, once you've got that, then you begin the soldering process, which is next. Here we are, beginning the final process of resoldering these connections. I always like to get a piece of 60/40 rosin cord like this, take it, wrap it around the finger that I'm going to be using to guide the solder, and take the tip. Always make sure you have a bulbous kind of end to it. Come back to your wet rag on your holder here, and you know, just try to clean it up as much as you can. Alright, so we have the piece in, and here we go with the connection. I touch and melt. You see? Touch and melt. Want to make sure that, you know, you have a connection to the circuit board and that it's connected, and, you know, appropriately. Give it a touch. and melt. And once more on this connection here, touch and melt. I just like to guide the solder as I'm connecting it, you know. So it's not very Alright, so once you have that connection made, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm attempting to trying to make it clear. So effectively, the repair has been made. Circuit board connections reconnected, and you know, it's there. That might not be very clear for you guys, but I was trying to get it in as much as I could. So I'll point it out with this. Here is the connections that have been resoldered. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And those have been done completely by hand. Normally, if you didn't know where it was, you'd find a multimeter, test for conductivity, see what it was. But at this point, there we have our connection made. And now comes the process of putting it all back together. After the repair has been made, here it is, fully assembled again. We're gonna test it, make sure everything is working appropriately. Down, up, left, right. So this way we know that our directional pad repair has been done correctly. And again, this has been Tapia showing you how to repair directional pads, soldering, circuit board repair on an MPC 2000. Keep it here, TAPIAUNO1, YouTube.